phantasm? Is it a nightmare? Phantasm. Is it an illusion? Phantasm.
What is up, motherfuckers? And welcome to the FANTASM Podcast. As always, I am GORECHRIST. With me here, to my right, Dr. Vincent fucking West. The prescription for death. And we have a really exciting episode today. We have Brian from Vital Remains did an interview for us. So fucking awesome. And we'll get to that later. We'll talk about the show they did with Hate Eternal Monday night, which was a fucking killer show. We'll get into that here in a little while later in the show. But what has the doctor prescribed us today for the feature film?
Kind of a suggestion from our interview. We'd like to thank Brian for this. We are going with the original Hellraiser, Clive Barker's Hellraiser.
1987, regarded as one of the greatest horror films ever to be filmed in Britain. So it's a pretty fucking good one. It's Clive Barker's first he's a directorial debut of Clive Barker making a film. If you watch or read any of the stuff on the making of this film, Clive Barker had no fucking idea how to film a movie. He couldn't tell lens from lens, and but it ended up. You
never know it from watching.
Yeah, it ended up being a fantastic movie, and of course, it's based off of The Hellbound Heart, which was a novel written by Clive Barker. So for him to write and do this movie is pretty awesome. Of course, the opening scene, they're in Morocco, and the guy has the box, and that is Frank, yes, and he is pretty much, he's got candles around him. He's doing a little ritual here. We'll just to delve into the interview real quick before we even talk about it. Brian, when we asked him, he wanted to do one of the new Texas Chainsaw Massacres, like either the first Platinum Dunes remake or the beginning, the second one. But we don't have them on Blu-ray, so we didn't.
Right, we're strictly doing Blu-ray, so
we're sorry about that, Brian. But this is one that I know you love and you suggested, so we figured the next best thing, if not those Texas Chainsaws, we got Hellraiser for you. So hopefully you enjoyed it. It's very, it's a satanic goodness. It's just a fucking sick-ass movie, and I know based on the interview you enjoyed it, so I'm actually excited to do this one as well, because we haven't done Hellraiser yet. So this is the first Clive Barker we've done, and
it is, and I think this is the best one to start with. I mean, it's and I'll be honest with you. When I saw this at the theater, because I went and saw this with my uncle, and I remember just thinking to myself, this is fucking nuts. Like this movie is not something you want to watch when you're high.
No. And you've done that?
Yeah, it actually gave me an anxiety attack.
Wow.
A long time ago.
This was actually banned in Canada when it came out.
Really?
Yeah. They eventually got it, they cut like about 40 seconds from this film to put it out in Canada. So yeah, eventually it worked out, but I mean, this movie's so fucking nasty, This is one of the only horror movies that actually scares me. Still to this day, it kind of makes me squirm a little bit, because it's not so much the gore and the torture shit, it's just that Frank is actually scary, like when he's Frank the Monster or whatever.
I'd like to say another shout out here, just to tell anybody if they've never had the pleasure, Doug Bradley is really, really fucking cool.
He is.
I'm really fortunate, I felt, to get to meet him, and he was really, really super nice. And
he's a stand-up guy. He really is.
I thought he was not happy talking with us, because I took something that he had said out of context to my wife and I, which was basically, he was like, you know, I told him, I was like, I can't believe we're standing here just hanging out with you. And he was like, oh, you should get out more and meet different people. Huh. And I didn't find out till later. This is kind of an interesting side note on Doug. Apparently he has like really low self-esteem. Like he's not really, like he doesn't understand why people like him. And I'm like, you're fucking pinhead.
Yeah.
But it was really humble. It was sad, but at the same time, it's like, dude, I fucking love you. Like, this is, I couldn't believe it. It was surreal. And,
he was very informative, and you know, just he'll go out of his way to talk to you to make you feel comfortable, and I think that's very rare. And for somebody like him, who's a legend of the industry, you know, he's just a great person to be around. I mean, he's got so much energy. You know, when you talk to him, it's crazy. I didn't think I would get that kind of thing from him, but he's really goes out of his way, and it's pretty cool. You know, he was wearing, I don't know if you've heard of Blackcraft clothing, but he was wearing that stuff, and he was trying to plug that, because he was, I was like, I love your shirt, and he's like, oh, well, you can buy it. You can go to blackcraft.com and get you one. I love their fucking t-shirts. You know, he was just going off about all kinds of stuff. And
Roger Ebert said this movie was the bankruptcy of imagination.
Yeah, well,
apparently that was, he was trying to compliment it, saying that. I don't really understand what that means, but
even if he tries his hardest to compliment something, it always sounds like it's just.
Well, both of them were kind of weird.
Well, if it's not Gone with the Wind, then they don't care. You know, it's got
actually one day. I mean, obviously not today, but the funniest fucking thing. Actually, I'll just go ahead and just say this: if you guys ever want to see something funny with Roger Ebert, look up him reviewing Silent Night, Deadly Night. He calls it a piece of trash, and which I love that movie, and I know you do as well. But it's kind of funny just hearing him go.
We got through Christmas. We'll do that. We'll do that episode.
Fuck it. We'll do Christmas in July. We'll do it soon.
Yeah, we can. That'd be great.
That movie's just funny, but I mean, it's I think it's pretty pathetic that he just has to shit can every horror film that's out there.
It's like you don't need to review that stuff. I guess it's important for people that don't like horror movies to review horror movies, but at the same time, it's like if you're not a fan of horror movies and you don't get it, then don't review it, you know? Like, I guess for horror movies, bad press is good press, because if people are like, this movie's disgusting and it's just a bunch of gore, then more people are going to want to see it,
Here's an interesting fact. I think this is very interesting. Doug apparently had to do take after take after take because he had trouble hitting his marks because he was wearing solid black contacts and couldn't see.
Yeah, he was almost tripping over his skirt.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was tripping over he didn't want to trip over his skirt that he was wearing, the Hellraiser stuff.
And another side note, Toodle, your dog, likes to eat at the Chinese restaurant where they sold the box, which is interesting.
He's what you would call a regular at the Chinese place there.
Okay, now this is interesting. Christopher Young, also did the music for. This is fucking awesome. He did the music also for Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which is my favorite
Freddy's Revenge. Yeah.
My favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film.
Mm-hmm.
And he also did the music for Invaders from Mars.
The Tobe Hooper film.
Yeah, which I'm not crazy about that. I do own it, but it's kind of...
It's cool he worked with Tobe, either way.
No, that's awesome. That movie's just not that great. Don't buy that film, guys, unless you're just really into campy films.
Invaders from Mars on Blu-ray?
Yeah, Scream Factory put it out a few years ago.
Really? I didn't know that.
It's not like a special, a collector's edition or anything. But,
is the movie a foot long, as you would say?
Yeah, I just don't like it. I own it because I'm a huge fan of his stuff.
The Doctor's word, it's a foot long.
Well, it's just
no disrespect to Toby, but
it's not a gore thing, and I'm a gore guy, and it's
Well, yeah, it's your profession.
I just couldn't really get into that, I mean, it's okay, but it's not really a horror film. It's more of like a science fiction thing. I don't know.
Speaking of gore, and we'll plug this later as well, so you guys don't forget, for those of you that tune in late to these things, if you do or you don't, we got Tobias from Vomitory and the band Cut Up of Sweden fame doing an interview for us as well, and that'll be on the next episode. So look out for that, because that's going to be fucking awesome.
Real excited about that.
Yeah, and his brother helped form Vomitory with him, and then he went and did Cut Up with Eric, also of Vomitory. So if you haven't checked out Cut Up yet, if you're a Vomitory fan or if you're just a fucking death metal fan, Cut Up is beyond what death metal needs to be these days. I mean, I think they are carrying the mantle forward for death metal, I think, and their album Forensic Nightmares has been out for almost a year now, and it's on Metal Blade Records. So go pick that shit up and support it. Go find those old Vomitory records. I mean, that's just essential death metal.
Actually, you can get most of them.
Yeah.
If
their last record, Opus Mortis 8, which is their last record in 2011, they ended on such a great note. I think with that record was just fucking nasty. So
the Cut Up shit's killer too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a new chapter of what they do, but the way they ended Vomitory was perfect because that album was so fucking good. It's just a punishing record. I mean, it takes a toll on you. Somehow physically that album beats me to death, and it's great. I love every second.
On a business note to you, real quick, I accidentally left that CD in the car.
Did you?
It is here.
Next, we're gonna.
It is here though.
Okay.
It is here. I didn't forget it. I've been listening to it. I wasn't listening to it because we were on the phone. I guess I just left it in there.
Yeah, we can go grab it in a minute.
So now we're seeing this scene. I want to actually talk about this scene a second. First of all, and this is something that I really want to talk about. This is a very fucked up scene. So the woman who will later be a pretty big role in Hellraiser 2,
she actually carries on to for 4 films. So from this one till Bloodseeker, I think, is the last film she did.
You're getting into uncharted territory with me there.
She's done 4.
You were like, the missus, she's delved way into these. My strict cutoff with these films is 3. So
me too, but I know she's in the one after
3.
I know the one she's...
Well, see, I didn't think she was in that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't
Ashley
seen
Lawrence, the younger one, not
Oh no, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the older bitch.
Oh yeah.
She's only in the first 2 films.
Yeah, Ashley Lawrence, which is Kirsty Cotton. She's in 4 Hellraiser films total. So.
That's cool. I did not know that, but again, I gave up after part 3.
Me too.
Side note: Doug Bradley's favorite film is part 3. So there you go. It's interesting.
And what was the last film he did? Was it 4?
Yeah. No, he did a shitload of them.
I think up until 5.
He did well. No, I think he may have done more than that because Julia won't watch him unless he's in it. So, but either way, back to what I was saying. The scene that they're about to show, this really bothered me when I was high.
This is where
I actually had an anxiety attack. Yeah, where he runs his arm up through that nail.
Oh yeah, this part where he's like, "Hey, will you get me a beer?"
And on a side note on this, her dad, the one that's getting ready to hit the nail,
Sean Chapman.
No, that's not his name because he's a Star Trek actor. Hold on.
Yeah, him.
That's not Sean Chapman. Hold on a minute.
Or Sean's the guy that plays Frank, then.
Yes, that's correct. But hold on. Where's his goddamn name? I'm dropping the ball, kids. What a big Star Trek fan I am. I can't think of his name.
Andrew Robinson.
Thank you. Andrew Robinson is Garrick from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which I am a huge fan of.
Amazing. See, just like we say, if, it's a horror movie and it's classic, it's Star Trek dude probably has something to do with it.
Very interesting, yes, but...
He's a Deep Space Nine guy.
Yes, that's
awesome.
Correct. Actually, do me a favor for shits and giggles.
And he's
just for you.
He's the Scorpio killer in Dirty Harry.
Yes, that's correct.
That's insane.
Check out what he looks like as Garrick, because you'll get a kick out of it.
Okay. He's also...
he's a Cardassian you're going to love this. He's a Cardassian informant / assassin.
And he's in... he's Sergeant Botnick in Child's Play 3.
That's correct.
He's been in Pumpkinhead 2, which is a turd, and The Puppet Masters, which I've never seen, so I don't have anything to say about that film. So what is it you want me to look up? What's his name in Star Trek?
Garrick.
I don't.
I just want you to, just for fun, this has nothing to do with the podcast, guys. I'm just nerding out here with Mr. GORECHRIST for just a moment. Just thought we'd get little laugh out of him seeing the dad, which later Frank is, of course, wearing Andrew Robinson's skin when he gets ripped in half.
You can tell that's him, actually. That's pretty awesome. Nice.
Well, it was cool when I met him, because the end scene of this film, the payday, if you will, the money shot.
No, it's Elam Garrick. That's him. Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane.
He's a Cardassian assassin.
Not to be confused with the Kardashians.
No, Cardassian.
Who are eye and ear assassins of the 21st century. Anyway.
Agreed.
They're also penis assassins.
But I thought the way that he shot this is so disturbing because she's getting fucked by Frank here in a minute.
Yeah.
And then he gets the nail into his arm.
So it's two nails in one.
It's just it's almost like.
And Kirsty's,
yeah, and maybe people will attack me for this, but it's kind of like an art film in that. It's like it
really is.
He's playing with other things in it.
The torture part,
kind of Cronenberg-y,
a little bit, but it's body horror in a different degree. It's more.
But yeah, it's not me.
This was
attacked by an insect.
Yeah, this was the OG torture porn. Not counting the giallos of Italian horror, where there's a lot of torture porn and that stuff. But, this was a different level of body horror, where it's just straight up putting skin on hooks and ripping faces in half and shit.
Tell you a fucked up story about this movie. I remember knowing this guy that used to run around with a buddy of mine, Peter, that I grew up with. And when we all saw this, we'd rented this. We weren't at the theater. I saw it at the theater, but I was obviously too young. I was in 6th grade when this film came out. But when we watched this on video at my friend's house, he was telling us how he had jacked off to this scene. And I'm like,
ugh.
I'm like, dude, what's hot about this creepy guy fucking this dude's wife and then a guy getting a fucking nail in his arm? It's like, because this scene actually made me fucking nauseous.
Yeah, it's a very just weird scene. And
well, it's bordering on the whole. We're breaking all these boundaries of between heaven and hell. And look, she's licking his fingers. I mean,
it's really gross. Yeah,
it's just fucked up. I get it. It's very effective. The scene, I think. Look, and he fucks her on her wedding dress.
Yeah, it's just it's very uneasy, and it's not something that I find arousing.
I thought it was fucked up that this kid's telling me and my friend, we're fairly young, that he's whacking off to this.
What's kind of funny is she's getting porked by Frank, and then the father is basically trying to move this mattress, and it looks like he's fucking the mattress. He's sweaty and all that, and he's trying to move this mattress. You can see the foreshadowing with the fucking nail. And Julia Cotton up here is getting fucking nailed.
I can't, man.
This scene is just, what's about to happen, And there, there it goes. Well, I've done that before with a fucking staple in my,
Ugh.
I was moving a couch.
That's just one of those. It's effective because it still makes me go, ugh. It's like, shoo. Anyway, let's go to a fun fact so I don't Ralph on the dog. What did I just see here? I thought this was very interesting. I lost my fucking place. Looks like several people have tried to get this to remake it.
Apparently it's about
I guess he's fought them on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like from what I'm reading here, it looks like Clive in 2013 basically was like, I'm rewriting it.
Yeah, because apparently Doug Bradley was supposed to hop back on this.
No, it says Doug is involved in it. He's attached to it.
Yeah, no, he's hopping back in there.
Unless this is wrong. It says on October 24th, 2013, Clive Barker posted on his official Facebook page.
This is
not
official,
to be confused with the fake Facebook page.
The public figure page. This is his actual Facebook page.
Actually, I was just making fun of Facebook. But anyway, that he would be personally writing Hellraiser. And the Weinstein Company would be the ones releasing it. And original Cinnabon actor Doug Bradley will be returning as Pinhead. And when I asked, what's interesting is when I asked Doug, and I can't remember if I met him in 2013 or I think it was 2014 when I met him.
Mm-hmm.
He basically said that he was attached to it, but he couldn't talk about it. And I thought that was really... It's weird when you run into that, because I'm not used to that kind of jargon. I mean, I understand,
right,
but I'm not used to running into that with people when there's like, no comment or I can't discuss that or whatever. I'm just like... Well, but I guess it makes sense because there's eyes and ears everywhere with the internet,
Yeah, and he doesn't want to, especially if maybe the...
I know, but I wanted to hear about the whole film, and I wanted him to tell me. I mean...
It's the production.
I'm the doctor. You can tell the doctor about the film.
You should be able to.
But I
you should be comfortable with your doctor.
I'm being silly,
but it's also the studio heads that tell them to stay secret about it because, it's not like completely official yet. As far as they're writing it and they're doing all this stuff, but it might not even happen. So there's also that. And
well, that Weinstein Company, I can tell you guys this. This is just a fact. If that thing gets made, it's straight to video.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it would make a decent amount of money if they.
Well, his films never. That Weinstein Company, most of that stuff never gets in the theater anymore.
That's true.
And the only reason that I know that is because
they're not very good at pushing stuff and marketing their stuff.
Well, that's apparently where. And there's Frank coming out of hell.
It's fucking nasty.
It is nasty, but you know what?
That's why
for some reason this isn't as nasty to me as The Fly.
No, because it's not an insect. He's like a skeleton becoming, flesh. It's pretty cool. It's a really cool scene, but it's also just kind of creepy. This movie was made so well, but it actually does its job of being scary, and I've always been kind of a freak. It's not to the point where I won't watch this movie because I've seen it so many times.
I forgot how nasty this is.
Yeah, but it's just kind of, it actually makes me unsettled.
Look at that. That's Taco Rancho. I mean, it is. That's fucking gnarly.
It's just,
but it actually kind of looks like The Fly, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. But I know it's not an insect. It's a human, so it's not as bad. But
yeah, it's not freaking me out as
you can see all his little, his organs coming, forming and this fucking veins. It's just fucking gross. It's really nasty.
She's like, Frank, eat my pussy with your skeletal tongue. Anyway, but yeah. And of course, they're all having dinner now. This movie...
They're having dinner.
Yeah, they're having...
We gotta...
But what's funny about this movie, to me, or what I think's interesting about it is kind of slow, but man, where there's pay dirt in this film.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And of course, that whole sex thing, I don't even, that didn't really, I guess that happened in her mind, didn't it happen? Like she got mind fucked by Frank?
No, they really fucked.
Was it like, it seemed like it was a memory.
It's flashback.
So she fucked him like forever ago, whenever they first got in the house or something.
Correct, and now she wants him back.
Yeah.
And she's willing to kill her own husband to do it, so she does.
Yep. Which is pretty awesome. Got to make that sacrifice.
It's interesting to me. Also, I want to also talk about something else real quick, guys. I'm gonna go tech nerd on you here. The doctor's going tech nerd. If you buy this, grab you a copy of the Anchor Bay Blu-ray. Do not buy the Image one. The Image one is bare bones. You'll even see it housed with Hellraiser 2. But if you want this film and you want it in high def, just track you down a Anchor Bay copy of it. I got mine for about $12. You can find it a lot of your mom and pop kind of Blu-ray places, like a used store if you have something like that you can go to, or even eBay. They're not very expensive. You can snag you a copy of this. There's a lot more special features, and this actually looks pretty damn good. The Image Blu-ray, which I've also seen, it looks like shit. It looks like it's ported off of a VHS tape. And that would be the one you see in the bin for $8 at Walmart. Avoid that one because you don't there's no point even wasting your money on it.
No, the effects for this movie was made by a guy named Cliff Wallace. You want to hear a resume for this fucking guy?
Let's hear it.
This being the first real movie he ever did, so no wonder why he got so much work. But Hellraiser being the first notable thing he did, second film he did notably. He did Waxwork, which was the next
Love it.
horror film he did. Then he started going into like really high budget like action movies. He did the first Mission Impossible.
Wait, the Tom Cruise thing?
Yeah.
I've never seen that movie.
And then he did that Doom movie, which is awful, but, whatever.
The Rock?
Yeah.
By the way, Corey's favorite actor and wrestler is The Rock.
God damn.
I mean, it's not.
He did Your Highness, that fucking
Why is Danny
Danny
McBride
McBride
in that? I love Danny
I don't
McBride. I know.
Clash of the Titans. I didn't know there was real effects in that fucking movie, but okay.
I hate that remake turd. I love the original one. Love the original Clash of the Titans.
He was on a bunch of Doctor Who stuff. He did that new Victor Frankenstein movie.
That movie was terrible.
I never saw it. He did that Forest movie. And that new Assassin's Creed movie coming out this year, which is interesting. He did World War Z, and he did Fury, which is another Brad Pitt film. So he's worked with some crazy stuff.
That movie was terrible.
Yeah, I've never seen that either. But yeah, I mean he's got a lot of shit under his belt. He did Black Hawk Down. I mean he's done Blood Diamond. I guess he's a Brad Pitt guy. He must be.
There's Frank looking a little better.
Right.
Not really, actually.
She'd fuck him anyway.
She's like, stick your muscular, vascular dong in me.
I want to see all the veins, like, fuck me. So yeah, it's just very interesting that he, did all that stuff after these films. So, of course, this being the only Hellraiser he did, I don't know who did 2 or any of that stuff, but Frank in this scene looks like a vagina.
Part 2 is pretty good. Like I said, I hate to keep going back to this one. I'm going to get some shit for this probably, but I really like Hellraiser 3. I really like that film.
We got Nigel Booth as well that did ran the special effects, makeup crew.
You want to hear something even weirder?
And he did Aliens before this film. So in '86, that was his.
He must have been part of Stan Winston's crew,
right? And then the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, of course. And he did Species, which is something you can actually whack off to if you wanted to.
It's a good movie.
Only for a few seconds, so you need to be quick. Farscape. I know you're a Farscape guy.
Well,
a little bit. He did 2 episodes, so he didn't do much.
I'm a Star Trek Stargate guy. Farscape is in there, but it's not really. I know it's a little too Muppety.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I do like it though, okay. But yeah, that's cool.
Too many characters like.
It is, and it's. I mean,
you don't have the serious badasses walking around. I mean, they're there, but I agree with the Muppet thing. They're kind of all the characters are kind of like that.
That's why it's Muppety.
Yeah.
Although I don't know he was even still alive then, but
that's a good insult to tell somebody. You Muppety fuck.
Right. I like it. Here's something weird that I just thought of. Again, this is on subject but off subject. This film, you've got a DS9 actor, and then Hellraiser 3, you have a DS9 actor. Isn't that weird?
And who's in that one?
The lady that played Dax.
Wow. Okay.
And I can't think of her name right now. Terry something.
Terry
Farrell.
Okay.
So
I don't know how anybody can whack off to Claire Higgins or whatever her name is that plays Julia Cotton.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
It's like, bleh.
I never thought about this being a British film, but it's very British actually.
Oh yeah,
watch it.
It was filmed in Britain, and Clive Barker's British. Doug Bradley is British. I don't know, how many British actors are in this film, but I know, of course, Doug Bradley.
And there's Jens.
It's Rob Zombie.
That's pretty good.
It's like that creeper guy staring at, Kirsty and her boy toy here. Which is pretty funny. He looks like Rob Zombie.
And her dude looks like he was in an 80s pop band.
He does.
He's like, hold on a minute. Do. And then he's like dancing or something. I don't know. He's going in for a hot Frencher. Anyway, but
he's like, take off that fedora. You're not Freddy.
This film also looks like it was done with no money.
The budget was $1 million for this film.
He did a lot with it. I'd say most of it went to the makeup effects.
Yeah, I agree. And then...
although the location scout on this, it's horrifying, really.
Yeah, it is.
This movie feels claustrophobic to me, too.
It's very enclosed, because they're in that room most of the time, too. That room that Frank's staying in.
It's like you're inside the box.
Yeah, and then...
Shit.
Even this scene... with, and it's back to her getting fucked by Frank.
And the doctor's young friend somewhere whacking off to this.
Yep. But even in her bedroom with her actual husband, it's like there are beds against a wall, and it looks like they're in a fucking prison or something. And they're just in a bedroom, but it's so like...
He looks like a cake.
And there she is. She was like,
he's got Gib on.
I just remembered us fucking again with your beetle tattoo.
She's like, Frank, I like that jism all over your face.
You look like a glazed donut. I want to look like one too.
That makeup is really good.
Yeah, that's real too. I mean, shit. Yeah, he looks like he's just fucking
looks like
jizzed
some
all over
Impale
himself.
album. Or Aborted or something,
The Frank
crazy.
Shall Remain. And there's all these just crazy, dream sequences. And
it's like
flashback stuff.
This girl going in between heaven and hell through this entire film. It's very strange.
It is. And there's just like feathers everywhere. It's a very surreal scene. It's fucking cool though. This film is very artistic, and Clive Barker's a very artistic guy. If you've ever watched like Nightbreed or any of his other stuff, that's very apparent that he's into all that shit.
Yeah, as much as I like Nightbreed, I still have to kind of go back to this one.
Oh, of course.
I don't know why. It's not even Pinhead. There's just something cool about this movie. This movie's very sacrilege. It's a lot of sacrilege in it. It's very
because they're from fucking hell dimension, which is pretty awesome.
I mean, he's playing around with something that's kind of got me as a kid with The Exorcist. That I feel like he's kind of touching on that, especially if you're raised in a religious household, which I was, which is probably why I'm so fucked up. But it does irreparable damage, and I think when you see a movie like this, if you're raised in a very religious family like I was, this movie is like, wow, it's like you're opening the box in front of the TV.
Right. No, in the Brian interview, he said he was currently reading the Scarlet Gospels, which is the newest Clive Barker novel, which is basically like a reboot of the Hellbound Heart, the Hellraiser thing, but instead, Pinhead is actually, an entity called the Hell Priest, which is pretty bitchin' sounding, and I can tell why he reads that stuff, because it's right up his alley. So I don't know much about it. I just know that's he said he was reading that currently, and that's another nod to Brian for choosing this film too, is that he's currently in Clive Barker land as far as his reading material. So I think he'll appreciate the choice here.
Another fun side note, I just saw this. I was looking at this on my phone. If you guys just want to watch this, maybe after listening to the podcast or whatever,
sure, you guys can turn it on right now.
It's actually on Netflix.
Yep, it is. The Blu-ray which we have is hard to find because it is out of print. It's one of the older Blu-rays to come out. One of the first, I think. It's just out of print, but yeah, we encourage you, if you guys listen to this, you want to go shot for shot with us. Fucking, we would gladly love to be your audio commentary for these films. We're not the filmmakers or any of that shit, but it's fucking GORECHRIST and The Doctor here with you. So, if you start these podcasts off and once you hear what we have chosen for you, you can go ahead and pop it in or find it online, however you do it, and go bit by bit with us, limb from limb.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, and just watch the film as we do it, and that'd be great. I mean, we try to do films that are, 90 minutes or a little bit over. You know, we try not to make them really long.
We don't want to overkill you. We will overkill
Right.
you with a couple things. We just haven't chose what those are yet. But
As far as horror releasing world, found out news, and this is so exciting for me personally because this is one of my favorite horror films, period. And for any gore hounds out there, it's one of the goriest films ever made. Grindhouse Releasing is putting out a 3-disc Blu-ray version of Cat in the Brain, Lucio Fulci goodness. So they were responsible for the DVD release of Cat in the Brain as well in the U.S. So, which I do have that version. It's packed with tons of fucking features. It's it's got the Fangoria convention that Lucio Fulci appeared at. It was like his last public appearance, I think. I think it was his first and last in the U.S. And it's very cool to watch that. I mean, he had an interpreter the whole time because he's an Italian badass, but very cool and a fun watch. There's so much features on that Cat in the Brain DVD they put out years ago. I think they put it out in 2009.
that thing's not on Amazon either.
Cat in the Brain?
No.
The DVD?
The Blu-ray.
Oh, no, the Blu-ray comes out on July 12th. You can go to diabolicdvd.com, I believe, is the site. And you can pre-order it from there. And that's, I guess, who distributes the Grindhouse stuff is them. Because you can get pieces from there, and you can get the Beyond from there, and Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Ferox. There's 2 versions that you can pre-order right now for Cat in the Brain on Blu-ray, and it's just the normal 3-disc one. And then there's a 3-disc, but it's a bundle with the Lucio Fulci bobblehead, which there's only 500 of those made, so you can actually pay an extra like $10 and get the bobblehead along with your 3-disc Blu-ray, which is awesome. And it's got, of course, they do such a good job of packaging all the shit with their releases, and they got the soundtrack for the Fabio Frizzi soundtrack with the Cat in the Brain this time around. So very cool.
What year is that film?
I think it's a 90s film, if I'm not mistaken. It's
I've never seen it. I was just curious.
I actually have the DVD. I'll pull that one out.
Something I'd like to talk about came out this week. There's 2 things I wanted to tell you guys. You can go out, and you can actually pick both of these up at Best Buy. One of them you have to. The Burbs, which I've waited for 10 years to come out on Blu-ray, is now available at Best Buy. It's $10. And another one I wanted to talk about was Scream Factory's Manhunter that came out this week, which I also picked up at Best Buy.
Have you watched that yet?
No, I have not. It's still sealed.
I haven't seen it.
If the doctor buys it, it's probably sealed. Like, we opened this Hellraiser just to watch it today. But anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about, this is my favorite Roger Corman movie is coming to Blu-ray. And it already is on Blu-ray, but this is supposed to be a different version of it. The movie I'm referring to is, of course, the Boris Karloff, Jack Nicholson, The Terror.
Nice.
And it's already on Blu-ray if you guys want to buy that version. But there's another version coming out on May 31st, and it's available only through Amazon. It's an on-demand title, and it's from a company called The Film Detective. The Terror is public domain property, like the original Night of the Living Dead. Anybody can, if Corey and I wanted to put out Night of the Living Dead and The Terror in a 2-pack, we could. Those films are public domain. But anyway, I'm going to pick up this, and this comes out May 31st, or you can get the version that's already out, and it's $10 on Amazon.
Yeah, it is. Cat in the Brain is 1990.
Cool.
But the release in the U.S. didn't come out until 99, which was on Laserdisc, which is pretty crazy.
Anyway, The Terror is awesome. I love that movie.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to do that one.
I would love to do that. It's also one of the very first things Jack Nicholson ever starred in.
Really?
Yeah, it may even be his first film. I'm not exactly positive about that, but it's one of the first damn things he ever did.
Now, did she just kill her husband? I believe she did.
Yeah, he's dead.
And
she killed Garrick.
She's in this see-through dress, basically. And Frank has just exhumed his corpse, if you will, because he looks, the husband looks like a goddamn mummy, and there's Frank, actually becoming
He's
more
sunbathing.
fleshy. Yeah, he's enjoying the sunlight now, and now he's basically he's a lot more. I can't think of the fucking word. Not structured, but whatever. He looks more human than he did. He's not so much a jizzy skeleton anymore. Now he's more flesh bound. It's pretty cool.
Talk about something I've been listening to this week. I've been really digging on because I'm getting excited about their new album coming. I've been listening to a lot of Dark Funeral this week.
Really?
Yeah.
And have you heard anything from the new record?
I have not, and I don't want to.
Is it that same singer that we saw that's in that band still? That bald guy?
Yes, I believe so. I'm not 100%
Sorry to
positive
say,
on
but
that.
I honestly wasn't really a fan of that vocalist. Met Lord Airman after that show. He was a great guy. Surprisingly, I was kind of scared to meet. Usually, pretty scared to meet the black metal guys. And he was very cool and welcoming, and he was just kind of like, yeah.
Did you see them at Maryland Death Fest?
No, I saw them with
Morbid
I
Angel?
want to say Morbid Angel, yeah. That's right, you saw them in a different venue than I did.
I saw them in Kentucky.
Okay, so he's not dead. She killed somebody else. She killed that boyfriend, I think. Yeah, because he's still walking around the house, and she just hid the body.
Oh, okay.
She's feeding him. I forgot. She has to. Julia in this film has to feed Frank bodies so he can gain flesh and all that shit. So the husband is still alive at this point. So I'm sorry, we weren't even paying attention. We were going on about all this other stuff. But
anyway, the Dark Funeral. I've been listening to their first album, which I love, and then. I'm getting ready to look up right now and find out if it's that same cat that's singing for him. I wasn't crazy about him either, but I'm still going to buy that record. They haven't put a new record out in a million years.
And I really like Dark Funeral. I think the Swedish black metal stuff tends to be a little bit more on the death metal side as far as intensity for black metal.
No, this is a brand new vocalist.
It is?
Yes, it's not the same guy.
What is the name of this?
Andreas Vingbach. He didn't join until 2014, and I know we didn't see him because I saw him in like 2012 or 13.
Yeah, okay.
Different guy, I don't know anything about him. The singer that you did not like was...
He was from some other band, I just don't remember.
Actually, I'm not going to go through all that because there's like 5 million singers. Anyway, I don't care. Actually, his name is Steve Marbs is the guy you didn't like.
Huh. Okay.
Knockhoff McNiffnen is his stage name.
Yeah.
Anyway, they haven't had a fucking new album since 2009. So
That's insane.
I'm excited about it. It's called Where Shadows Forever Reign.
Awesome.
And it comes out in June.
Look forward to that. I'm sure it's going to be a shit wagon. So.
I've been also listening to, this is just some just random shit I've been listening to. The new Flotsam and Jetsam.
Is it good?
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
It's really good, actually.
I mean, if you guys are just elitist death metal fans or whatever, Flotsam and Jetsam is heavy shit. Like, it's good.
If you appreciate a classic, because all I listen to is classic thrash stuff, and I'm very picky about it.
It's very good. It's honestly, their older records are essential, I think, to thrash.
And it's if you don't know this, you all probably do. That is the band where Jason Newsted came from.
Yeah.
But but the record's great. Actually, Jason wrote some stuff on that new record.
Really?
Yeah, he's not on it, but he did write some stuff.
He didn't do anything with production or anything like that? He just kind of got featured on some of it? Okay.
No, he's not performing on it. He just wrote some songs with him.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Just contributed musically. That's cool.
And he's uncredited on those. I found this out from watching an interview. But they have a new guitarist. But yeah, that record is pretty solid, man. Trying to think what else I got. I picked up something else I was going to talk about. Actually, I'm not going to talk about that, but not that I don't love it. I'm just not going to get into that on here. But there was another. What was the other thing that I picked up? Oh, they reissued 3 of the Angel Corpse records. I picked those. Osmos Records reissued 3 of those. I picked those up.
Wow. Okay.
Their first 3 records.
Fucking awesome, dude. We got this guy on TV eating crickets. He's that fucking weird homeless guy, Rob Zombie, eating crickets. For me personally, and I know you too, we've been waiting on, the new Vital Remains for a really long time. We've always been huge fans of that band, and Tony's done a great job of keeping them together, and Finding Brian has really launched that band to a new, just shed a new light on that band, because I'm not saying they were ever forgotten or anything like that, but they've always been an underground death metal, and they've been one of the kings of underground death metal. And I think, Brian's one of those performers that can really put them to the forefront of where death metal is going to go from here on. And can't say enough good things about Brian and how he performed. Just really, really fucking awesome. If you haven't seen anything with the lineup right now of Vital Remains, just look it up on YouTube or go to one of their fucking shows if you guys are, if they're in your town, then go check them out, because, man, it's just great. It's worth every penny. It's just a fucking stellar show.
Vital Remains actually blew Hate Eternal off the stage.
They really did. It was been a long time since I've seen a death metal show with that much intensity.
Not really sure, but yeah, I'm pretty happy. They reissued Hammer of Gods, they reissued Exterminate, and they reissued Inexorable, so I'm pretty happy with those. The Angel Corpse stuff, which has nothing to do with the other stuff, but just throwing that out there, I'm pretty happy. That Osmos Records, really cool fucking label. They put out some really interesting black metal stuff and black and death metal stuff, if you want to use that as a term there. And there's the Cenobites, and they're killing Frank, it looks like.
This is when that happened.
Yeah, this is a flashback as well. This movie goes in and out in it. Wow, he's getting the blood cakes.
The torture rack there.
Yeah. I have to agree with you. I think the makeup in this film is fantastic. But back to Angel Corpse for a second. I've actually reached out to Pete from Angel Corpse and see if he would like to actually talk with us on here. I haven't heard anything back from him, so keeping my fingers crossed there. I think the guy's a legend. He seems kind of private, though, so I was actually kind of surprised when he even added me on Facebook a few years ago, but and that he was still there after I had shit-canned my page and then resurrected it. I'm kind of excited. I want to talk about one more CD, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready I'm going to look here and see when this comes out so I can talk about it again. We've talked about it a couple podcasts ago, but I wanted to bring it up again because a lot of love for this guy, just because his former band I'm starting to lose any love for, but which I'm not going to discuss. But there is a new 6 Feet Under record coming out.
Yeah.
And it's a covers record.
The Graveyard Classics.
Yep. And I'm trying to find out when that thing comes out right now. And no, I don't want 6 Feet Under the TV show.
Oh, and this is where the husband finds out about Frank, because she's been pretty much whoring herself and leading these guys.
Fuck yeah, this motherfucker comes out tomorrow, kids. 6 Feet Under. Graveyard Classics.
And it's Iron Maiden
4.
and Judas Priest covers, strictly.
So, the Doctor will have this tomorrow. I'm going to go grab this. If I have the funds, I may get a copy for Mr. Gorechrist if he wants one.
Right, hell yeah.
But, and I still don't see a goddamn track listing for this fucking thing. Oh, shit. Oh, another one, kids, tomorrow. Just saw this, not to keep rambling. The new Death Angel comes out tomorrow, too.
Awesome. They have a video
which I haven't
out.
heard a goddamn thing off of.
They have a video out, actually, for the song Lost, which is on that new record. So
nice.
You can go check that out and get pumped. And the wife's doing everything she can to seduce her husband and not go into the Frank room. And, it's not happening. This is it for him. And I think after Frank dies, this will be the perfect lead-in to the Brian interview. I think we'll just do it that way. We'll wait till Frank's death for the inevitable Brian interview you guys have been dying to hear.
It was really cool. Really happy that he did it. I couldn't believe that he did it. But great. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, he did some cool shit with it. But yeah, so you got the 6 Feet Under tomorrow and the Death Angel. Those you should probably be able to get at like an FYE or a Best Buy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Maybe. I know FYE normally carries 6 Feet Under. You're probably not going to find the 6 Feet Under at Best Buy because they're just weird. Maybe that's a crapshoot. I'm sure they'll have the Death Angel though. They may not have a lot though. So if you want, and I think there's a deluxe edition of it.
I think this is funny because now.
And if you haven't bought the new Destruction, get it too, because it's really good.
Oh yeah, we plugged that on our last episode. Definitely.
I'm just making.
Definitely pick that shit up because it's.
Those guys.
awesome.
Those guys need your money more than a lot of bands. These guys have been around for a long fucking time. They get no love. I want to actually take a second with Corey here. We've never done this on a podcast. I'm just kind of throwing this out here right now.
Sure.
And some of you out there may think this is stupid that I'm doing this, but I'm doing it anyway. Nick Menza passed away recently, and I want to just say one thing about that. I saw him play with Dave and Marty on the Rust in Peace tour. Was the first time that I saw them, and at a small theater. And I just wanted to say that it's really bothered me, and a lot of love from me goes out to his family and loved ones and anyone that was touched by his music. And I think it's a terrible shame that he wasn't able to be a part of the incarnation that is now Megadeth. I kind of blame Dave Mustaine for that. Nothing against Chris from Lamb of God, but I think it's a damn shame that people didn't get to see that because they had talked about him actually coming back, and
he actually tried out for them.
I think that's
or something got
because
he was gonna try out, and something happened with him because he was in that band that he was actually that he died performing for, and
I just think it's a shame.
It is.
And I kind of hold Dave Mustaine responsible, not for him dying, but for him not letting him play with him again, because I think he kind of robbed a lot of people from getting to see that.
I agree.
Again, nothing against Chris, but it's like...
Countdown is my favorite Megadeth album, always will be. First thing I heard from those guys, I went from that straight back to Peace Cells and, got into that band. Still always be one of my favorite bands, but the band that I remember... that I, grew up listening to, for me, was always Dave Mustaine, Dave Ellefson, Marty Friedman, and Nick fucking Menza. So, that was
that's
my
most commercial line. Yeah. I mean, they made a lot of money.
Yeah. And, I love Chris Poland and all them, too.
That's my era.
Peace Cells was fucking awesome, and that's what I fell back on after I heard Countdown. I didn't go Countdown, Rust. I went Countdown, Peace Cells, Rust, so...
but I wanted to mention him just because I think... I felt like we should.
Definitely. It's a huge loss, whether you're death metal, whatever. Nick Menza is a huge part of that. And, rest in peace to him, and my thoughts and, condolences go out to the Menza family and anybody who was, influenced by him. I know, I'm sure Chris Sadler... is actually very hurt by that because he's the biggest fan of Megadeth in my opinion. That's the whole reason he sat behind a kit in the first place with him and Willie. So I'm sure he's very hurt by that as well, because I don't know if they ever met or got close or anything like that. But I know that Nick Menza was a huge influence on his drumming. So and I know Dave, either way, whether he feels guilty or I know that he had said a lot about Nick, very kind words when it all happened.
I'll say it. I don't care.
That's true. And
I feel sorry for Nick, and I think it's a goddamn shame. But I think he should be playing. He should have gotten another chance to play with him. But whatever.
Right.
Dave Mustaine's a fucking Christian idiot. So
he had kind words to say about all that. And either way, I just wanted to say rest in peace. And this episode, as it is a death metal heavy episode, this definitely goes out to Nick Menza, this episode, and our podcast as a whole. I mean, we do this because we're fans, and Nick Menza is a huge piece of metal history and what it is today as well. The good in metal today. So also thank you, Nick, for everything that you've contributed to this scene and to this community, and you're in a better place now, and may you rest in peace.
Thank you, Nick Menza. Yeah, it's...
And then, not to jump right into this nasty shit going on after that, but Julia in Hellraiser has gotten her husband Larry hot and bothered because she was trying to seduce him not to go see Frank, but now he's like wanting to rip her damn pants off, you know, so. And Frank was about to stiletto knife him in the fucking back of the head. And
Gonna fillet a fish.
yeah, instead he filleted a rat. I don't know why he did that. I guess to insinuate he was about to cut the skin of Larry's back off while he was trying to fuck her, but I don't know. Now Larry's concerned because she just kind of totally cock-blocked him after she was trying to seduce him, so. But since you've been waiting on it, we'll go ahead and we will give you the Brian of Vital Remains interview, which is, a hefty 30 minutes long. It'll add this will make this episode actually almost 2 hours, so it's pretty cool. And I'll play you a short clip here from the show we saw Monday night in Atlanta at the historic Masquerade. Fucking awesome venue, which won't be here much longer. But we will have a new one, and we don't know much about that, and nobody does, but, we'll spend as much time there as we can before it shuts down. Because it's one of our favorite places. We'll travel hours and hours to go there.
Definitely our favorite.
And our other hotspot over, I'm just going off topic, but I mean, there's just so much stuff packed into this that we got to talk about. Our home away from home at the Masquerade is the Kroger down the street, which is where that's our other hangout spot. We go there to kill time before the show. We grab our beers, our what the doctor calls the Kroger toilet water, and our essential snacks, our snacky poos that we need before our show or after the show, what have you. It won't be there the next time we're going down there. They're supposedly, shutting the Kroger down and leveling it so they can put in more hipster apartments and, bike trails. Or whatever they're doing.
They've ruined the whole part of Atlanta, but in my opinion. But
it's turning into,
what
did you say what was turning into?
Either a business complex or more condominiums.
Well, no, you said they're turning it into San Francisco.
Well,
that part of Atlanta.
Right, the fucking, metrosexual, douchebag haven, which is what it's turned into. It's like you can ride that bicycle every day, but you're still going to die.
That's right.
So you can ride it carrying your fucking iPad, and you're still going to fucking die. So. Not by me, you're just going to die. So you can exercise every day if you want to. You think it's going to make you, hornier or sexier or whatever. And maybe it will, but it's still going to kill you. So.
And here's Julia leading in what looks to be Bill Gates into Frank's room.
No, it's Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. And he has a lovely suit on. What would you do if you saw that shit?
Hammer smash face.
Yep. Hammer back of the head. Oof. Didn't use the pointy part, but... And now, the daughter can hear all this shit going on, because this is almost a fuck-up right here, but... Yeah, Frank has got a lovely suit on for this. You gotta have your dinner suit on, alright? This is just fucking nasty, how he eats the bodies. Oh, I guess he, rips the spine out and just, sucks it.
Not really sure.
It's just, he sucks the whole thing fucking dry. I don't know how he does it, but it's pretty nasty. I think the Mummy movies actually took a lot from this. How Imhotep is sucking up all the corpses so he can. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. So I guess they were a fan of the film. All right, enough fucking yapping and bullshit. We'll give you. I'll show you this little clip real quick to lead into it. But here is a brief audio from the show we just saw, so you can get a taste of this crazy bastard right here.
This is for Dave Rocky. This is Hammer down the fucking nails. Wait.
That, of course, being a wall of death that Brian usually incites every show. So
very entertaining.
Definitely go fucking see them. Here's the interview.
Buy some fucking merch from them.
Yeah, they had really cool shirts. They're almost out of everything. So yeah, buy everything you can find from them, and we will get back to you after the interview's over. Do a little, debriefing after this is done.
So we're here with Brian from Vital Remains.
What's up, motherfuckers?
And just played a killer show here in Atlanta with Hate Eternal tour. It's what, the second to last day of the tour, right?
Yep.
So how's the show's been so far?
It's been killer, man. Different shows for different reasons. Some shows were a lot better than others. Canada was sick.
Oh, I bet. Where in Canada did you guys play?
Montreal, Toronto. We did a headliner in Sherbrooke, and then Quebec. Quebec was
Wow, you did a lot of dates in there.
Quebec was pretty nuts, man. Last time I was in that same club, I jumped
Right.
off the table, and the table fell underneath me, and I fucked myself up.
Jesus Christ.
So this time I went back, and I got my revenge on those tables, and I fucking did a flip off them this time, and it was cool.
I went to Montreal once. It was pretty cool. There's a hobo that came up to me, and he said he had like bowling pins. He's like a street performer guy in Quebec, and he was like, you want to see me do an impression of Mike Tyson? I was like, sure. So he held up the bowling pins to his face, and he went, bitch. Like,
Montreal was a cool show.
Yeah.
My first, I did some shows with the band in 2011, but I officially joined in 2012. And my first show ever with Vital was, no bullshit, on my birthday at Fufan Electric in Montreal.
Wow.
And we played Fufan Electric on my birthday this year.
wow,
So
that's awesome.
It was the same
Not even
day.
planned, just
Not even
happened
planned.
that way.
It just kind of happened
That's
that
fucking
day.
cool,
it was
man.
the same day in the same club in the same city.
So that's got to be
amazing.
sentimental to you just going back there anyway.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. So that was definitely a memorable show.
Hell yeah.
And then I live in Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
So last show of the tour is tomorrow.
Yeah, and you get to do it in
No,
Fort
day
Lauderdale.
after tomorrow. Excuse me, day
Right.
after tomorrow. And then, I got a 10-minute drive home. Taking my personal
It's a good way to
car,
end
and,
the tour is just to go straight home.
No
from there.
flights, no
Yeah.
long drives. It's from the stage to my bed.
That's amazing.
How's the van life and driving in the van and stuff?
It's always a fucking pain in the ass.
With a bunch of
man.
dudes, death
it
metal
is what
guys.
it is.
And,
Sardine can, but we tend to, get some hotels and shit like that. You know what I mean? So
right.
it works itself out, man. You save money.
Yeah.
Doing the van as opposed to the bus, and everybody gets to come home with a little bit more coin in their pocket. So
Oh, that's true, man.
I'll rough it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You guys do live off gas station food, or you guys actually
Gas
try to
station
eat?
food, and, I got one of the employees here gave me some shit today. He goes, man, you walk in a ladies' bathroom. I said, yeah, because that's the only place to take a clean shit.
Yeah, the bathrooms in here are a fucking horror movie in and of itself.
And the club isn't even open yet, so there's nobody even in here. That's tour life, fucking
Right.
tour life hack right there. You got to take a shit during the day, do it in the women's room because they don't piss on the
Smells
seat.
nice, and maybe get a little blood once in a while, but that's all right.
Oh yeah, you deal with it.
And as an old fan of the band, I just want to tell you, you're my favorite singer that they've ever
So
had.
far,
And
it's-
I mean, seriously, like I'm a huge fan. Just from seeing you on YouTube, I was like, Jesus Christ! But I did see you here with Vader,
Cool.
which was fucking amazing.
My other band played here years ago with Gwar.
Really?
Yeah.
And what was your
early
other band?
on. It was us, the Casualties, and Gwar, and they had the little haunted house right around the corner down there.
Yeah, the Chamber of Horrors thing
Yeah,
that they do.
that's awesome.
Yeah, here in Atlanta.
Awesome, man.
It is pretty cool. It's
And a couple years ago, a very good friend of mine that lives, my brother actually, he the one that gave me this human femur.
Yeah, I saw that. It's fucking cool, man.
He's got the other half of it.
So that's a human femur.
Yeah, it's a human
That's
femur.
pretty
Wow.
awesome.
Supposedly from a seminary graveyard from a priest. So
That's even more badass.
yeah. Just try and make it as cool as possible.
Right.
But he lives here, and he a couple years ago we came down for Halloween.
Right.
And Gwar was playing here, and
Perfect.
I
Perfect
had just
atmosphere,
gotten the job. First time I'd seen Brocky since I got the job at Vital. I had my Vital shirt on, and
Right.
Rocky's like a brother to me, man. He looked at me, pointed the Vital logo, and said, "Fucking proud of you, man." That's awesome, dude. I'm so.
I
fucking
went to
proud.
Barbecue when they, burned his odorous, costume, and that was pretty. Never was a huge Gwar fan, but that was really fucking cool to see.
Yeah,
all
man.
that,
So Masquerade always holds special to me because that was the last time I ever got to hang out with my brother.
Yeah.
So that was, it is what it is. But you remember shit like that. You know
Yeah,
what
it's
I
true.
mean?
Are you from
Good
Fort
time.
Lauderdale?
Chicago originally.
Really?
But
Wow.
I lived in Milwaukee for a few years, but I've lived in Fort Lauderdale since 2001. So
Okay.
15 years in Lauderdale.
How long did you live in Milwaukee?
3 years.
You ever
3,
do
4
that?
years,
Just when you were little?
Yeah, well,
Let's say you
couple
do the-
years in, like in the elementary, middle school years,
Right.
and then I went up to Milwaukee from Chicago for a weekend. I got arrested. 3 years probation.
What
Wasn't allowed
happens
to
in
leave.
Chicago?
I wasn't allowed to leave for those 3 years. I went on
Right.
vacation and left on probation, and so I got stuck in Milwaukee for a couple years. And I went back there. I was back there for like a year recently, kind of family issues. But,
Right.
Chi-Town, man. Hail Ditka. Fuck the Packers.
I've been there once and I really liked it. But I was like 20, so I didn't get to experience, the BYOB shit and all the bar street stuff. Yeah, it is. And that's where I'm from. I'm from New York originally.
Yeah, it's a nicer, cleaner, cheaper New York, man.
That's right.
For sure.
It's really nice.
Friends with any other death metal bands from their Broken Hope?
No Comment and Gorgasm.
Yeah, those guys are fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
They're good guys. Man.
These guys are fun.
Flesh Grind, Lividity, fucking...
Love Lividity,
Incestuous, Corpse Vomit, Dissenter, all them dudes, man, back in the day. For sure.
Awesome.
The United Guttural stuff, you know what I mean? So, Sick Rich.
Okay.
And a shout out from Brian for all those. That's awesome. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember all them bands, man. I used to have that Dissenter fucking Beauty of Suffering shaped disc would look like a helmet and shit. And
right.
I remember one day I didn't know any better. I was like 15. I put it in a fucking CD player in my car and it fucking ate it. I never got it back.
Oh no.
I never found another one. So Mike, if you're listening, I need another one of those. 20 years later.
Happened to an immolation record of mine. It was their Providence EP. It's actually very rare. I got it for free. It's like a Scion Music thing, and my friend's car ate it. And
I had the same one.
He still has the CD player from his car that he took out, and he still can't get the fucking CD out.
I thought I would have learned my lesson with D-Moves and thrown Darkness Triumphant that was shaped like a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
But I didn't learn my lesson then, and what the fuck I was thinking. So,
what about the new stuff? The new song was awesome. Loved it.
Thank you.
It sounded like classic Vital Remains. I mean, it was fantastic.
It's gonna, we're gonna give Vital fans a Vital album. That's all I can really say about it.
And it's been a long time waiting for that shit. You know,
it's more a question for Tony than it is for myself.
Right.
Everything's written. We're ready to go. There's just some logistics that got to get figured out.
Sure. Now, do you write the? Oh yeah. And do you write the lyrics for the stuff you've written?
For the most part. In a World Without God, I wrote a couple of lines Gator put in there, you know what I mean? A couple filler things that I was struggling with, and we feed off each other well.
That's good.
I love having Gator. They're doing backups with me.
Oh yeah, he's a beast.
Dude, his fucking highs are ear piercing, his lows are just fucking power. And me and Gator, after at least 5 years, we got the chemistry now to where it's like he'll see me go into the pit and he'll step up to cover me.
Right.
We can play that back and forth. Like tonight, I just looked at him. I didn't have my breath, and I was just like, "Hey, come up." And he just looks right at me and steps up and knows right there to have my back all the time.
Whenever I first saw Vital Remains, I saw him when I saw Gator play. I was like, Jesus Christ! I was like, Glenn Benton is his stunt double.
Yeah,
he's the real one.
Yeah.
And Glenn the whole time is a stunt double guy.
Gator's fast with them fingers, man.
He is.
Gator's my boy, man. I love that dude.
He's just a fucking mammoth. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's a fucking redneck. He's a fucking redneck as they come. From North Carolina, drink PBR, watching NASCAR, and
hey,
you know
man.
what? And there's nothing wrong with it.
He gets on stage and it's all about Satan. Fuck it.
Yeah, fucking A. Exactly.
It's fucking awesome. Now, another element we do with the podcast, normally we watch like a horror movie and we just do talk about death metal and that kind of shit. What is your some horror movies you absolutely can't do without?
I'm gonna go into this and I'm gonna get so many people that hate me for this.
Fuck it, man. This is your shit. This is your shit.
No, I mean, people listen go, oh God, he watches that. And
I have. You like what you like.
I always will have a special place in my heart for Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
We're huge.
Freddy's Revenge, honestly, is one of the best fucking films they ever did.
I
horror
like
movie.
New Nightmare.
Do you?
I thought it was
cool.
Interesting twist to bring him into the real
and Wes
world.
Craven really got shit for that film, and he loved doing it.
I thought it was one of the most creative ones because he realized that the series was over, and they found a way to reinvent it.
Sure.
Yeah, with a completely new twist that
he kind of did the Scream thing. It was like a movie within a movie thing, and
but
they were filming a movie. But it was like the real character, the real actors.
Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare in theaters. Awesome. Sneaking out at like 12 years old. With my parents, I was going to see Suburban Commando with Incredible.
Fuck yeah.
The fucking Freddy's Revenge and had the 3D glasses. Put these on when Alice puts on the glasses and the piranhas coming at you and shit.
It's like welcome to prime time,
Hellraiser
bitch.
will always have a special place in my heart.
That's one of the only movies that ever scared me was that
film.
To
be honest, my favorite one was hey my man, you got a light? You got a lighter? My favorite one of all time, man, I'm gonna get shit for this, is number 4, Bloodlines.
Bloodlines is good. It was the last good one, I think.
Yeah, last good one, man. I'm in the middle of reading the Crimson Gospels right now.
Right.
And I don't know what I think of it yet. And so I can't stand B-rated movies. Me and Phil Anselmo fight about this shit all the fucking time.
He's a big B guy, B movie guy. We love him. We love just to laugh and
Dude, if I have to sit through Bloodsucking Freaks one more time.
Oh God, I've never seen that.
Or Dead Alive.
That one's really cheesy.
Yeah,
the gore's there, but it's just like God. We watched a lot of these movies on fucking mute, so if it's a real B movie like that, it's just
the
goofy.
The gore factor doesn't really get me. If I want to watch gore, I'm going to watch Faces of Death.
Yeah, the actual shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the real stuff that you can't, to actually have on DVD somewhere. You can find it.
What was the first horror movie you watched?
Jaws.
Fuck yes, man.
Yes. I think I was like 6 years old.
I consider that a horror film.
Yeah,
it is.
I was like 5, 6 years old, 85, 86.
It's fucking terrifying.
And I don't even think it was the first Jaws. I think it was the second
the 3D
or third.
one.
I was so young, you know what I mean?
Right.
I just remember my babysitter making me watch it.
It's a good babysitter.
Yeah,
you look back on it.
Yeah, I remember my babysitter making me watch it because I remember SeaWorld,
It's the third one.
Yeah, the third one. And then they straight into Nightmare on Elm Street right after that.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
See, I get made fun. My favorite Nightmare on Elm Street is Part 2.
Yeah, Freddy's Revenge is
good.
pretty sick.
Dude, you know what? I got a soft spot for 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
4.
See, I like 3 because I was a huge Dawkins kid. That movie really did it for me. For 3, it was awesome.
We love the makeup.
It's weird,
guy
but it's a
that
good
did
movie.
4, Screaming Mad George.
Oh yeah. I used to have when the Dream Child came out when I was like 11. I had one of the cutouts from the movies.
Yes.
And I would stick it in front of my parents' door and knock on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning. And my dad will open up the door and he'd see me and fuck!
Great.
I'd get grounded for like a month and get my ass kicked. It was totally fucking worth it.
That's great.
Jason's always been great, Halloween, of course. To be honest, it's going to be blasphemy. I like Rob Zombie's remake of the first Halloween. I thought it was the best. It humanized Michael Myers. Okay, we finally got to see what happened that night instead of just hearing secondhand accounts of it. It really kind of brought the whole story together in a much more epic way than I thought.
He had a lot of balls for doing it, for sure, for wanting to go through with that and make it.
And it's the same thing with me and The Omen. Like, I like the remake more than I like the original.
I still have the ticket stub. I saw it on 6606. Yes, I still got the fucking ticket, man.
What about
there's also a movie called The Calling. Which is incredible. It's a complete rip-off of the Damien, story.
Right.
Really?
But it's done phenomenally well. It's a British movie.
I'll have to check that out.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent movie. It came out like 02, 03.
I'll have to check that out for sure.
So, I like the Texas Chainsaw, of course.
What's your favorite one of those?
My fucking Andrew Bernarski is the only fucking Leatherface there is. Gunnar Has-Been sucks. There is only one Leatherface, and that is Andrew motherfucking Bernarski.
You like those?
Yeah, that man fucking, he scares you.
I had never seen those. And we went to a horror convention, like comic convention thing. I went there with my wife, and we went there, and Doug Bradley was sitting right beside him. And he's like, oh, you got to come over here and meet him. And I met him, and then went and watched him later, and I was like, man, these are really cool. I just had never got around to watch, because I grew up, the first one, the second one.
Oh, of course, dude.
And even the third one, I love people like the Leatherface.
Leatherface was good, too.
Cool.
I didn't mind any of them, man. I love that whole story. And to be honest, what's that new one that they just made?
I loved that Texas Chainsaw. I thought it was pretty.
The one with the girl?
Yeah.
Where the girl is his cousin or whatever.
I thought it was cool.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, everybody shit on it.
I saw it in 3D. It was fucking cool, man.
Yeah,
they had like these special glasses that said Texas 3D on it, and it was like red. It looked fucking cool.
I don't know who played Leatherface. All I know is it wasn't Andrew.
It was Dan Yeager.
Yep.
It was somebody I don't care because it wasn't Andrew. And
was Andrew the one from the first remake that they did?
First 2 remakes.
Yeah, he did both the beginning and the
remakes.
That guy is fucking.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That guy's fucking huge.
It's like getting fucking Kane to play on. And Andrew's such a cool motherfucker. I love that dude to death. I can't say enough good things.
He was
about
really
him.
nice. Yeah, he was
real
really
nice,
cool.
fucking sincere dude. He was in also in that movie Any Given Sunday.
Really?
And remember the old college movie, The Program?
Yeah.
Remember Latimer, the crazy motherfucker that painted his face up?
Yeah.
That's the same dude. That's Andrew.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so it's like I've stood next to Andrew and looked up at him like, okay, I get it.
That's pretty
I'm
awesome.
Fucking terrified right now.
Right.
Like there's nothing I could ever do to you because you always think like I can outrun that motherfucker, and I've seen that boy run. He's agile. You ain't getting away from Andrew. That boy, a football player. You know what I'm saying? He will fucking run you down.
Some football movies for a reason, you know?
Dude, he will fuck your world up inside and out, dude. And so when I saw him play, and I saw him play Leatherface, and I liked him before I ever met the guy. You know, and as soon as I saw it, it was like, okay, there's the fear. You know, when he just grabs the guy, sits him on the fucking hook. You know,
yeah.
It was.
That was really nice, that scene with the.
Yeah, it wasn't a slow.
It was the reverse because it was a dude instead of the chick, like in the original. But the piano effect of it worked, and it just.
Totally, and then
it's
seeing
very
Robert Lee
visceral.
Ermey in there.
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh,
you
of
know
course.
What I mean?
You gotta love him.
And he's the sheriff too. It's funny as shit.
Well, not really, but just played it. You know.
Right, he had the shirt on in the you know.
But
the,
it was
the
there's
cop car.
something a little bit more terrifying between the gunner has-been, that's what I call him, and just the slow moving. You know, now you got somebody like Andrew that will run your ass down. There is no getting away from this.
That's why a lot of people didn't like the Friday the 13th remakes, but the remake. But the fact that
the one from 09,
Derek Mears is a big motherfucker, and he's
yeah.
running in that film, and that makes Jason scary to me.
Oh, dude,
not just like he'll catch up to you because you're gonna fall down in your pink dress. You know, it's like he can fucking run and throw tomahawks at you. And
dude,
shit.
one of my movies I'm really looking forward to coming out as a series I absolutely love is Jeepers Creepers 3.
Yeah,
because Jeepers Creepers, the first one, set this tone to where it's like you can get away from the guys.
Right.
You can make it to civilization. You can get to the fucking police station.
But he knows your scent and he can find you.
But that doesn't mean you're safe.
Yeah.
Right? You know, in the other movies, it's like you're running through the forest and then you're trying to find somebody to help you and then you get help and then you're okay.
But this one, they find sanctuary, doesn't matter. You know?
There's no getting away from this.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
love that film. I love that film.
That's a great movie. I loved it.
He kicks over the guy's boombox because he's like, fucking music sucks.
He like pulls the mask up.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Friday the 13th? Like the old ones, though. It didn't have to be the old ones.
Jason Lives.
That's our favorite too.
That
That's our favorite.
We
one.
love that. We take so much shit for liking
I was about
that
to say the new chapter, but I had to think about it for a second. You know, it was Jason Lives for sure.
Oh yeah, that movie's fucking awesome.
Because that's where he becomes actually supernatural, where he gets powers. So it's like superhuman and stuff.
you
You know, he can throw people, 30 feet in the air.
Cooper music in it.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, totally, man. I definitely dug that shit, man.
You know that this is a funny story. I grew up down here.
Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah, fuck
yeah.
yes.
And even the two new ones, man, with the CGI, I thought were great.
I haven't seen them.
Pumpkinhead's scary, man.
No,
He's a
okay,
scary
like
motherfucker.
the first one, he makes it to the house, and then
I love
that kid helps him,
Yeah.
little redneck kid.
Yeah.
Well, now it's that redneck kid has grown up.
Oh shit.
And they've been stealing bodies and like stealing people's money at the funeral home and not cremating them and doing shit like that. Somebody finds out and then calls Pumpkinhead on that kid.
Oh.
And so it's like it's come full. So now you have this kid that's fucking terrified, seen Pumpkinhead before, knows what it does, and then it's like a bunch of them in a church and they're all praying in the church, and Pumpkinhead comes in and burns the whole fucking church down with everybody inside it.
Oh, I should get that for a soundbite for the record.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be fucking cool, man.
It was pretty bitchin', man. I definitely dug the Pumpkinhead movies.
Oh yeah.
I've seen the first one. I remember seeing it in the theater, loved it, but I have to check those out, man. I hadn't seen that. Is that the second one or the
third and the fourth?
Oh shit!
So Blood Wings, I think, is the second one with Kane Hodder in it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Blood Wings.
And that one's kind of weird. I didn't really like it that much.
It's the same storyline, just rehashed.
I just like seeing Pumpkinhead
I
on
love the creature.
Pumpkinhead's the best part.
Children of the Corn will always.
Same thing with Hellraiser too. It's just
that movie.
Oh yeah, Children of the Corn's nasty.
Oh yeah, He Who Walks in the Rose.
But Hellraiser, I just like seeing the character, and the Cenobites too are fucking bitching.
Which was starting to press me about Inferno and Deader. And
right.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's like I want to see fucking.
And they're supposed to make a new one with Doug Bradley again. Apparently,
Years ago, I met Doug, and I gave him one of those Virgin Mary MILF T-shirts. And
is he a satanic guy?
No, but he just loved that because
he loves the stuff because he wore a as above so below shirt and stuff. And he's like, you go to blackcroft.com and get it. It's really cool, man. And I was like, cool, man. I like the shirt.
He loved that shirt, and he goes, let me pay you for it. And I was like, tell you what, how about you do the outgoing message on my voicemail on my phone?
Yes.
Hello, this is Doug Bradley Pinhead from the Hellraiser movie. Suggesting you leave a message for Brian, or I'll tear your soul apart.
That's great.
Do you still have that?
No, I fucking lost the phone. Got stolen on tour, and I never was able to recover it. And Then I saw him like 5 years later. I was like, I don't know if you remember me. I gave you a shirt with a Virgin Mary. And it says MILF on it. And I was like, yes, that was me. And so it was cool. You remember that like all these years later.
That's
and shit.
It's pretty awesome.
Great.
I'm sure he still wears the shirt.
Probably. I saw some dude at the show tonight wearing it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
From one of my articulated clothing lines that is no more, but yeah, we try to make things.
How long did you have the clothing line for?
A couple of years, but I sold the print shop. You know,
Oh, shit.
I got out of the business, so it was me making clothes when I owned all the presses. Now, to go back out and do it again, it's not worth the overhead.
Right.
But we made some real fucked up shirts, you know. This one says, I killed.
So you made that one. That's cool.
Excommunicated clothing.
Because I saw that on some of your, some of the videos of you on tour. I was like, that's a fucking sick-ass t-shirt.
Another one's got all the world religions on it. Yep. It's slavery. Another one that has a big Muslim moon and star, the red circle and line through it says infidel, and the back says fuck Allah. I had another one I was going to wear tonight. It says no Islam, N-O, and then K-N-O-W, peace. No Islam, no peace.
That's fucking great, man.
And then...
see, that stuff, oddly enough, is coming up like a lot. I see a lot more people wearing shit like that.
Yeah, it's because nobody's got enough fucking balls. It's like offending Christians is PC, and you can get away with that. You know, but you can't say anything bad about Muslims.
Right.
You know, and I don't give a fuck. You know, to me, they're a much bigger threat than any Christian ever is.
Oh, totally.
Because Christians aren't, well, I'm going to take that back. Jacob Crockett in Oklahoma, a member of the Satanic Temple, was actually had his head cut off by a Christian in Oklahoma a couple years ago. It was weird, you know.
So usually they're not radical, and if they are,
we played Tulsa on this tour, and I gave a shout out to him. I said, I know this kid was from Tulsa. I gave a shout out to him, and then afterward, one of the kids in the local bands came up to me, tears in his eyes. He's like, dude, Jacob is my best friend. He's like, really? You know, none of that hasn't set right with any of us yet. You know, they caught the guy, he's in jail, but still, you know, this is 2015 at the time. That, you know, and this isn't, you know, Anbar Province. This is the fucking heartbeat of America.
Right.
You know,
Sure.
Shit ain't supposed to fucking happen out here. So when they say religion doesn't hurt anything, no, it still does. You know, every day. You actually go look at my YouTube. Go look at the death threats I get from Christians on a daily fucking basis.
Oh, I'm sure, man.
You know,
I was going to ask you in one of the YouTube videos, and I loved it. You had a bulletproof vest on.
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome, man.
Show of force, dude. You know, there's a few. There's a double negative side to that because I had fractured my ribs.
Right.
So I was wearing the bulletproof vest as kind of a brace.
Okay.
Because I had refractured my ribs 3 times on that tour, and I was wearing it so I couldn't twist and turn in ways I was going to re-injure myself.
Right.
And then also
it's
there
hardcore.
was, you know, hey, I hope the comments on the Vital page of I hope your singer gets dime bagged.
Jesus.
I
had no idea.
Oh yeah, and by quote unquote Satanists too.
Really?
You know, people like there's.
Well, they think you're like false, or you're just not.
There's some fucking asshole that got pissed off when I took the cross down off the stage.
Oh wow!
Showed me.
Yeah, I thought it was
some dude in his default picture, the huge Goto Mendes tattoo named Conan something, holding this fucking Conan sword up, and he's like, "Well, this hurt." I'm like, dude, you can sit here and fucking condemn a fellow Satanist for not wanting to play underneath the crucifix.
It's like, listen here, Red
Showing
Sonja.
off your Goto Mendes tattoo. Go fuck yourself, fucking hypocrite.
Exactly. That's ridiculous.
It's like, listen here, Red Sonja.
Yeah, exactly.
I got something.
What happened with that? That video, he showed that to me. That was wild. Where were you guys?
Was that
at?
like a Disney Orlando venue? One of those?
No. It's this shithole called the Haven.
Haven.
You know, the night before I had refractured my ribs.
Right.
And I was in the emergency room the night before. We had to stop off the freeway while driving so I could go to the emergency room. And they doped me up with tons of shit, benzos and fucking Dilaudid and morphine, and I was out of my fucking mind.
Like,
I don't remember anything. I remember James telling me I was choking him out with his hoodie in the back of the van because I wanted a new cup. They said, we pulled over to sleep at a gas station. Like, there's some homeless guy sleeping next to the van. Oh, fuck, that's Brian. You know, get him back in the van. My shorts, these same shorts, were on inside out with the pockets on the outside.
I was just having a good time.
It's like, get him to the hotel, put him down, get him to bed, we'll load in, and all that shit. And I did, and I was just sleeping it off. And then they got me to the venue about 5 minutes before showtime. So I wasn't at the club all day to see it, to give protest to it.
Was it like
I don't know. You know, because they had posters for Thy Antichrist all over the club.
Right.
You know, they know who the fuck. Belphegor was playing there.
Jesus.
You know, really? Like, and nobody in the crowd could see it. It was facing me and above the stage. So I didn't notice it until the first song. When I looked up and I saw it, I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm not playing on
You don't book a band like Vital Remains.
Well,
and
you know, I was going to be respectful about it. Right. You know, I'm not going to trash trash your club. And so I took it down. I was going to make a joke about it. Put it on the drum riser.
And she came up on the stage.
She came up and just grabbed it. And you hear me say in the video, like, here, you can take it, you can put it away. I'm not going to break it, but I'm not going to fucking play under it.
Right.
And these fucking assholes like this Conan faggot and shit like that. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that not politically correct? I'm sorry. To be a faggot means to be a weak punk little bitch. It has nothing to do with sexual orientation.
That's right.
So let's just clarify that one real quick, because I get people in the UK that go, oh, that's homophobic, dude. Well, you say cunt in the UK, which is definitely not socially acceptable over here.
Oh, cunt is like their, dude.
Word.
Yeah, they're just like, instead of dude, they're like, hey, cunt.
Understand there's a geographical principle to slang words that fucking get used. So these punk-ass, weak little bitches that were like, well, it's her club, she can do whatever she wants. Okay, great. What if that was a swastika and our Jewish guitar, because our guitar player is Jewish, and what if our Jewish guitar player took offense to that swastika?
Yeah, of course.
Would this argument then be validated because of what it is? Why is my disposition on the subject all of a sudden invalidated because I'm a Satanist and it's a crucifix?
It's not socially accepted, and I don't know why.
Ask me the immensity of the fuck that I don't give.
Right.
And then booking stuff there that they don't know shit about.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just a fiasco. Some people are like, well, that was staged. I'm like, dude, it's a small club show with 60 people on a Wednesday night.
Speaking of Phil, we saw. I went to a show in Clarksville. He was with Superjoint, and there was a sign when they started playing where it said, no moshing or anything like that, which is fine, whatever. But Phil, being Phil, he ripped the thing off of it, and he was like, how are you going to book a band like Superjoint? Have you heard us before? Like, why would you guys book a band like this and then expect the show like everyone just to stand here? Like, I don't know. He was like, we're not Mushroom Head or Head PE. It's like, you guys, we want you guys to have fun.
The thing with Porky's, that was all over the news last year when we got thrown out of the venue when fans started moshing.
Right.
And the guy brought in his meathead security guards and started beating up the fans and shit like that. And then finally, I just stopped it. I was like, hey, look, you guys deserve a venue that's going to treat you with more respect than this. Fuck this guy. Wall of death right now.
How'd that go over?
He comes walking up to the stage like a vice principal or something.
Yeah.
His name's Corky. He's got his finger in his belly button like, I need to talk to you right now. And I pushed him off the stage. Like, get the fuck off my stage, Corky. And then he got swallowed up in the wall of death. And then they cut the PA. We kept fucking playing. I threw the mic down, started screaming over the amps. And then we got physically thrown out. And then I'm happy to say he talked a bunch of shit about us online. And I'm happy to say that 4 months later, your fucking club is out of business.
Hey, they say any press is good press, but not that.
This band has been here. You couldn't even last 27 months.
Goodbye, Corky's.
Or 27 weeks, for that matter.
Where was that at?
Kansas somewhere.
Shit.
Weird.
Yeah, it's just fucking weird, So.
Now, who was on that show with you? Was it just you guys?
Us, Necronomicon, and the Kennedy Vale.
Wow, okay.
So.
Kennedy Vale's a newer.
Yeah, actually, Taylor from Inanimate Existence that's with us tonight sings for the Kennedy Vale.
Oh, okay.
So it's cool, man, coming out here with these guys, and everybody's already familiar with each other. You know what I mean? So it was a fun time.
Now they're Unique Records.
Yeah, they
band,
both,
I think,
both
right?
are. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Now, are you guys for your album? If you want to talk about it, are you guys just putting it out yourselves?
I got no idea what's going on, dude. I'm an independent contractor. I just do what I'm told.
Right.
Gotcha.
That's a question for Tony.
Oh yeah.
You can take care of that.
I got nothing to do with that.
We're excited. I'm telling you,
as a Vital fan, I'm excited, dude. I grew up singing these songs. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, it's like
I first heard Vital in '96. You know what I mean? So
I saw them in Nashville at a place.
The National.
The Muse.
Okay, yeah.
And Damien, I think, was the guy singing.
Okay, back in like 03, 04?
Yeah. This was 07.
Oh, okay. Anthony maybe, or Scott Wiley?
I'm not sure who it was.
Oh, no, that was Damien. I'm sorry.
What did it be?
No, it was Damien. I'm sorry.
And, man, I
guess I'm in the band. I should know the band's history.
but you're just, man, you blow me the fuck away. Over Benton, over any, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you're serious. I'm blown away.
Thank you, brother.
I'm serious. Like, we've watched so many fucking YouTube. I'm like, I cannot wait to go see them again. Since I saw you with Vader, and I was like, Jesus, it's fucking amazing. Because I was just like, because he was okay, but it just wasn't the same,
Sure.
Yeah.
I come from that old school mentality.
Sure,
you do. You can't ask the crowd to do something you're not willing to do yourself.
Well, you're a very in-your-face guy, and I really respect that about you. And it takes back. We've both been to a ton of fucking death metal shows, and really the intensity is there with the music. Sure, like you can just sit there and rip all night with your, all that stuff. But for you to get out there with the crowd and to do your fucking thing is beautiful. It's great, man.
Yeah, we did that in Mexico with like 30,000 people, and I was still in the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was like a security risk nightmare. You know what I mean?
Right.
Security scared. Oh no! What are you doing? I'm like, fuck that shit. You know, we went to go do this like meet and greet. You know, you're supposed to sit behind the table.
Sure.
And the fans come up. We walked up. We threw the fucking table out of the way. Like, come here, dude. You want a picture? Put your arm around. Everybody just fucking like sucks in on you. And
Right.
we're like, dude, it ain't fucking us and you guys, dude. It's all of us together, man. You know, I'm a fucking metal fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm that kid at that fucking show. You know, so if I wasn't in the band, I would be that kid killing everybody in the front of the show that nobody likes. Because
I appreciate that too.
And I punched your girlfriend. Yeah.
You know, some bands now, even with death metal, they'll do like charge for meet and greets and shit like that. And I just think that's very classless. You know, it's death metal has always been for kids
people,
like us that
people,
you know it's
amazing. There's bands that he and I really like that we've just basically got squashed out because they do those meet and greet things.
Well, they try to rock star you.
Talk to us now.
And I will say that sometimes those are set up behind the scenes,
or it's
the band's,
management or something.
and the band's not even getting any of that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
It is what it is.
Right.
Music, you know, like Napalm Death said, enemy of the music business.
That's true.
Awesome.
What's the name of the show?
It's Phantasm Podcast.
What's up, motherfuckers? This is Brian from Vital Remains. You're listening to Phantasm Podcast. Hail Satan.
Thank you very much, man.
So yeah, pretty fucking awesome. Pretty fucking awesome interview. And now, since we've skipped along here, this is the part where we see all the Cenobites and Hellraiser finally speaks, and you got Kirsty in the clutches of the Cenobites here. And we'll actually do some more audio here for you guys, and we'll just, because Hellraiser's the shit.
You've done this before, right? Many times. Just so that I don't break God. Oh, yes. He escaped you. Nobody escapes us. He did. I see it. Alive. Supposing he had escaped us, what has that to do with you? I can lead you to him, and you can take him back instead of me. Perhaps we prefer you. I want to hear him confess himself. Then maybe. We'll tear your soul apart.
And that's all you ever need to hear. It's the most iconic fucking quote, possibly in horror ever. One of them. But as far as these Hellraiser films, I mean, everybody knows what that is. So pretty fucking sick. And that's Hellraiser in a nutshell. He'll tear your fucking soul apart. So now, for the Doctor, how you enjoy the interview?
Yeah. Just to kind of tell you guys this, it was a very impromptu thing. We didn't actually think we were going to get to do the interview because we had tried to set stuff up with Brian.
Right.
Which Corey can also tell you a little bit about that. So it was really an impromptu thing. I couldn't believe that he did it. And we, for whatever reason, decided to walk out there a second before Hate Eternal came on, and we did the whole fucking interview. So we missed the majority of the Hate Eternal show.
Which you can hear music in the background during the interview was Hate Eternal playing, which is kind of cool. But we did catch, the last three or four songs of Hate Eternal set, which was definitely fortunate for us to get the interview and do that.
Yeah, got to be honest with you, the Hate Eternal, I thought Vital Remains blew him off the fucking stage. Was not impressed. I'm a huge Hate Eternal fan. Do not like the bass player or the drummer that was performing with Eric on this tour. The drummer was Hans Grossman that was in Obscura, which I thought he was horrible. And the bass player was somebody from Eric's studio. It was absolutely pathetic. Eric was amazing, as always, but what a horrible band to be back in somebody that's so legendary in death metal. I thought it was absolutely sad.
Yeah, and those are the Doctor's results for that.
You have to also remember that I've seen Hate Eternal on every tour they've ever done, and I just was not impressed. And JJ wasn't there. Love you, JJ. And it was obvious you weren't there doing vocals and playing bass. They didn't have the dual vocal thing going. And Hans Grossman is a very good tech-savvy drummer, but he doesn't need to be playing brutal death metal because it just doesn't work.
Right. Have to agree with you there. Vital Remains is honestly hard to follow because it's, I know with Eric and Hate Eternal, it's a different dynamic and different element how they play. Of course, you're restricted to playing guitar and vocals, which is great. He does, Eric Rutan's, awesome at doing that.
I'm a huge fan. Love his production.
And he's a beast on the mic and all that. But for a different performance, Vital Remains brings back more of the old school style death metal live performance. And, we were talking to Brian and Tony about this as well, is that they, when I was growing up, before I was old enough to go to these death metal shows, or, I had friends that were into the same shit, which is honestly hard to find. I'd watch videos on the internet, or I would buy the DVDs of these bands, and, the intensity was there in the live performance. It wasn't like you can just stand up there and the music projects the intensity and the windmilling and all that shit, but they used to get in the crowd's face, and it used to be very personal. Like, personal space is invaded, which is what you want in a death metal show, not necessarily with the other fans, but with the bands coming out to you and bringing you into the show. Is really rare to find these days, and Vital Remains does that tenfold with their performance. I mean, they're just, Brian's leaping off of shit into the crowd, like the fucking railing of the stairs, and getting crowd served, jumping out into the pit, and yelling in people's faces. I mean, that's what I grew up understanding what a death metal show was. Not to say every death metal band should follow suit, but that was the standard when death metal started, and I think Vital Remains holds up in that regard. So I just can't say enough good things about their performance.
They were fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Loved it. But again, I'm going to go back to Hate Eternal. Love the band. I'm a huge fan. I own everything. I'm a really big fan of Eric's. But Eric kind of snubbed us at the show, and I'm not going to get into that. But the band, he didn't have JJ with him, and I love JJ that does bass and vocals for him and records with him. JJ wasn't there. It was obviously noticeable. He's got some guy up there that looks like he should be playing with like a fucking jam band.
Yeah.
Like a hippie up there playing bass. And then I don't know what the deal with that Hans Grossman guy was just horrible. I don't know. I just wasn't impressed. And I'm a fan of his stuff on record, but it was like, wow, this is just not that good.
I think with him, he was too clean, and I'm used to hearing Hate Eternal being a very dirty sounding band in the best way possible. Like, they're just they've always been a raw sounding death metal band, and to hear them live and be more polished, I didn't really enjoy that as much as when I saw them before with their last drummer they had. So my final verdict on that is just, I like death metal to be very raw. I don't like death metal to be polished. If you're the perfectionist, I understand that, and I give you all the credit in the world for being that tight and playing chaotic music like that and still sounding almost perfect. But at the same time, I like my death metal to sound raw. That's just how I am, and I'm pretty sure that's how the Doctor enjoys his death metal. Is just raw and just in your face, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to sound hit for hit great. And it's not so much that I think Hans did a bad job. I think he performed the best of his abilities, and I think he pulled it off. But at the same time, the sound just isn't. The sound is too polished and clean, and it wasn't just dirty death metal drumming that I'm used to. Not to say you need it to be sloppy, but it's hard to explain. Not really triggered, like triggered sounding drums where it's too clean and too bassy. Just the raw, just straight drums is what I like, and it's very, it's hard to follow when you used to have a drummer like, Derek Roddy or somebody like that who plays dirty. But to sum all that up, great show overall. Eric is great, and he performed really well. He's a nasty guitar player, and his riffs are straight from fucking hell, and his vocals are still to this day just as brutal as the rest of them, and actually is one of the king of kings as far as the his vocals. And now to get back to the movie, which is the climax of the film, Frank is now visibly Larry, which is Julia's husband, and now he finally kills her bitch ass by stabbing her in the chest with her, or in the stomach, sorry, with his stiletto knife, and then digs his hands into her fucking neck and takes the rest of her flesh for himself. So now we got Daddy, who's trying to kill the daughter, and she's about to lead him into the room with the Cenobite so they can take him back to fucking hell in their little box. Oh, and the doctor had to take a shit.
I did.
That's why he was...
Sorry
was
about that. One of those things, impromptu AM shit.
You had to take it to the morgue.
I apologize.
That's all right.
I had to go to the can there and excuse myself.
It's a little...
it's cold to shit in the morgue,
little
too.
Human waste, suffocation style.
I had to.
Not bad.
I didn't have any choice.
While you were gone, Frank
Came
is
back
now...
to the best part of the movie.
Frank is now resembling Larry, and he killed the bitch-ass wife. And now he doesn't realize that the Cenobites are here to get him. And I think that part's so funny, too. There's like this plastic, or whatever it is, Jesus, that falls out of the closet, and she has to kind of like prop him back in there and close the door. It's just kind of funny. Or instead of a cat coming out and scaring you, it's like, oh, it's a fake Jesus. And she has to push him back. I guess it's a Christmas ornament or some shit. Christmas decoration. Like well, I guess it wouldn't be a nativity scene because he's a baby in there, but I don't fucking know. It's a giant plastic Jesus decoration that they, for some reason, have in their closet. And it's just kind of funny and goofy.
I had to drop my kids at the pool. By kids, I mean turds. No, this movie, I'm telling, there's something just disturbing about the way he shot this film. I don't know why.
Then you get one of those other corpses popped out on her and just like spewed maggots all over her. Nasty shit. Like, this movie's just gross, but it's not, it's disturbing, but it's not, it's like real almost, it feels like.
Yep.
That's why I always found this film scary, because it's psychotic. And you get that vibe.
Well, he's tied the whole sex is hell and blood and pain and all that.
Yeah, it's a lot of
S&M. Like, I don't know. It's just very interesting. Pain is pleasure, which I don't agree with. But
it's a lot of Claire Higgins.
Pain is pain, and pleasure is pleasure to me.
It's a lot of Claire Higgins getting nailed, which is gross in and of itself. But
it is. Unless you're my young friend that whacked it to it. But whatever.
I guess she's like really hot to him, or she just likes seeing an old bitch get railed. I don't know.
Maybe he wanted to be railed by Frank. I don't know. I don't really know. We won't know, and I don't want to know. But either way.
But we're getting towards the end here. And while we still have a few minutes left, got the final words from the doctor.
Well, there's a minute of this left.
Right.
But, because this will take a minute, I'm really happy that Brian was so into doing the interview. And that's something we can't tell these people about enough. He was very enthusiastic about doing it. I was blown away.
And it was our first interview, and this is kind of setting the bar, as well as raising the bar and setting the new standard for our episodes and our show. And the product is, this is what our main vision of this show to be, was to get these death metal cats on the show each week for you guys, so that we have both perspectives. Because our main focus here is horror, but we're huge, death metal's the other half, and we really wanted to bring that part out, because, the first bunch of episodes were, mainly horror, and that's great, but we wanted to bring out the death metal in a big way like we do the horror, because, of course, we have our movies that we watch, so the horror is the main portion of it, but the other half that would really make the death metal portion of this show, and, very essential to our show, is the interviews bring that out. And I think, this is what we want to bring you guys each week. And so you have...
We'll do as much as we can.
The other half of the show to look forward to, besides the film, is these interviews. And you can get a perspective on how they feel about stuff. And, of course, we ask them about horror movies if they're into it. And what their favorites are and all that kind of stuff. So we want both perspectives in here for you. And we have other stuff worked out where we're going to do full episodes where our guests watch the films with us. So that's another thing that
hopefully that comes to fruition.
That's coming to you guys as well. So you'll either get the you'll either get the interviews plugged in here, or you'll get full episodes with all three of us. So more of that to come in the future. But and here's Frank. Larry/Frank getting his inevitable demise, where he's getting his body torn apart back to hell, because here come the fucking hooks to lash into every bit of them. We'll do that. The skin pulling is fucking ridiculous.
Jesus wept.
Oh, rips the head off. Body sliced in half. Yeah, that was
right money shot.
And your friend just finished wagging it, like he just came.
I don't know if he. Well, I don't want to know. Maybe he's tied up somewhere with hooks in him. I don't know.
Not leaving us so soon, are you?
It seems like here the Cenobites aren't holding up their end of the bargain.
No, they're not.
And there's the mommy, who's fucking torn up. Because now they're taking all their bodies with them. But
that's Julia, isn't it?
Yeah, with the box in hand. So now the last step is to put them back in that fucking box.
I forgot about her getting there.
She's all hooked up. But really, the deal was if she brought Frank to them, that they would let her go. But they never really said that,
I have such sights to show you. Don't do that. Go to hell.
Yes, ma'am.
I love that in part 3 where Terry Farrell's like, go to hell, and he's like, ladies first.
Very cool.
Are you going to come see my pop band this weekend? This kid's fucking stupid. But no, man, I'm glad that
we're playing over at Pop Teca, the cereal bar.
But yeah, huge fan of Hate Eternal, very disappointed with his live members. And as far as the rest of that, no comment. But yeah, Brian was awesome. Tony was awesome. Vital Remains was fucking awesome. Live, they were great. Brian, if you go see them, Brian Werner is a very entertaining frontman. Maybe one of the most entertaining that I've seen in a long time.
I fully agree with you.
We watched the hell out of him on YouTube, and then to go see it live, which we told him. But yeah, and Brian, thank you for doing the interview, man. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, thanks again, man. We look forward.
It's our first interview. More to come with it, but
yeah, you're setting the tone for the next, for what's to come of this show. So we appreciate that very much, and we hope to have you on again soon. We'd love to have you again on there, and Tony as well. So we'll stay in touch with that.
Out. Yeah, hopefully.
Now, one last thing I want to ask about Hellraiser. Is it the second one where they had that sculpture that Hellraiser's in, and they're kind of feeding? That's 4? Wow. Okay.
Which I think is a turd, but
it is. That's the one where
what happens?
It's a guy
in
this
3,
time around.
The box falls in cement, and they build the building, and then the building looks like the box.
And then it's a guy luring in women instead of the women luring a guy. So he's luring all these women into his fuck dungeon and feeding. That is 3. Yeah. So he's
You're
feeding.
blending the two.
He's feeding the sculpture.
But you're
the
blending
bodies.
Oh, the sculpture. That's
Yes,
3.
that is 3.
I thought you.
Okay.
Okay, because the end of 3, I thought you meant where it. Because part 4 is that bitch with the Cenobite dogs in the building.
I've never even seen that one.
It's weird.
But yeah, I guess
3.
it is 3.
3 is what you're talking about.
He has this
That's
fucking
Doug's favorite.
Yeah,
That
he
movie's
has
awesome.
he has this sculpture, and it's like a black thing, and you can tell it's Hellraiser, and he lures all these women in there and starts feeding the sculpture itself like bodies of these women, and then eventually, unleashing hell, basically. So that is 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry for my confusion. Yes,
Awesome.
that is 3.
All
He's
right.
the goth club owner, dude.
Yeah.
And Armored Saint plays live there, which should be awesome.
That movie is cool. I think I watched that earlier this year, around Halloween time, I think, was the last time I saw that. Couldn't remember which one. But, yeah. We'll leave you guys with that. And thank you so much for tuning in this week. There is more to come. We hope you enjoy this episode as well as the Brian interview. Show those guys some love. Go to Vital Remains on Facebook and like their page. Go share their videos on YouTube and show people what death metal is all about. And, pick up their records if you haven't. Be on the lookout for their new album coming out. Just keep up to date with those guys. Support fucking death metal.
Yeah, real death metal. Those guys are great. And Brian, thank you again for doing the interview, and thank you guys for tuning in. But we are out of time.
All right. And all I have left to say is Jesus wept.